out of the closet. I mean, if you look around you, we look pretty much like everybody else walking around on the street. We've self-selected to be here tonight because of our interest in this subject. But in the same way that black people had to get their act together, gay people had to you get no respect in this society unless you stand up for what you believe in. And too many of us have been hounded into silence and paranoia on this psychedelic issue. I mean, the just say no mentality and the oh, how could you approach to people who take psychedelics. I think we have to be a little more strident, a little more visible, and then paradoxically, we have to deepen our own commitment to these things by striving for ever more heroic doses, ever deeper penetration into the mystery. So that will both strengthen our social core and then our willingness to be forthright about what we stand for and believe in will bring other people into this. One of the most satisfying experiences that I have as a public person is when, after giving some kind of a talk, somebody will come up to me afterwards and say, I thought I was crazy until I heard you talk. And now I realize there are at least two of us. Well, there are hundreds of us, thousands of us. The realities that we are talking about are real. It ain't pathology, it ain't hallucination or delusion or social irresponsibility or all this other malarkey. It's the lost continent, the lost other half of the human mind. And as long as we ignore it, pretend it doesn't exist, or are somehow cowed into keeping shut up about it, then we are infantile. We accept a kind of big brother umbrella over our reality. We should be as free to discuss this, talk about it, and work it out among our friends and significant other as we do our sexuality or our investment portfolios or our vacation plans. It's just part of being a human being. And many of you, I'm sure, have heard me say, to go from birth to the grave without having a psychedelic experience is, to me, as creepy a notion as to go from birth to the grave without ever having a sexual experience. It means you led a life of self-chosen infantilism and ignorance. And that's not what life is for. Life is some kind of moment suspended between eternities in which you may have a real opportunity to get your shit together and figure out what's going on. But if you run around saying, not that experience, and God forbid that experience, and I don't want to go there, well, then they'll just plant you and lower your box, and you'll be another person who never quite got their act together. This is not what we're striving for. We want life to be as rich, deep, complete, high as possible. Do it.
Maybe you just answered this one. What are the things that give meaning to the human experience?
Oh, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And higher mathematics.
Do you think hallucinogenics should be used for initiating young people into adulthood?
Well, you mean like some kind of initiation into puberty, as in Aboriginal societies? I think one of the things that we can do is get straight with our children about this. And one of the most, to me, disappointing, I don't know if disappointing is the word, but anyway, it's very bad to encounter hip people who say, gee, we'd like to twist up a bomber and get you loaded. Can you wait till the kids are in bed? In other words, these people are living some kind of schizophrenic existence. They can't get straight with their own children about their relationship to consciousness alteration. And I think that what we need to do is be able to be proud enough and forthright enough about what we're doing to hand this stuff on to our children in a responsible manner. It's far better to get your kids familiar and able to navigate with something like cannabis than to turn them loose in the world of high-density media images, alcoholism, speed, tobacco, so forth and so on. If we can bring our children up in an acceptance and a sense of being comfortable with these dimensions, then we really have performed a great service. I dare say there are probably only a handful of us in this room who learned about psychedelics from an exemplary set of parents. I certainly didn't. And imagine what a difference it would have made. So this is something we can do for our children. As to what age, under what conditions, this has to do with, your style, your kid's style, so forth and so on. But as long as we're so guilt-riddled and off balance on this issue that we can't even admit to our kids what we're doing, why, I think the establishment is going to have us right where it wants us.
One more. Okay.
One more.
I have a trellis of heavenly blue morning glories. After harvesting the seeds, what is their recommended dosage and what are the expected effects of a therapeutic dose? Thank you.
The first psychedelic that I ever took was heavenly blue morning glories. I have a soft spot in the bottom of my stomach for it. Well, what you do is you grow the morning glories, and then they will form these seed capsules, these little tear-shaped seed capsules in the late fall. Cut down the whole morning glory after these seed capsules have gotten quite large, and then put it in a big brown paper bag and set it somewhere where the sun can bake out this bag. And usually the little seed capsules will spring open and shed the seeds, and you can just pour the seeds out at the bottom of the bag, or if a few don't get loose, then you can beat on the sides of the bag, and these seed capsules